What if your vibration never actually fell? What if everything you've been trying to raise has already been pulsing inside you, just dormant? The light you're searching for isn't far away. It's breathing right there, in the silence between one thought and the next. You didn't come here to learn how to vibrate higher. You came here to remember what you've always been: presence, frequency, and consciousness in human form. Nothing needs to be earned, only reactivated. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel to activate your vibration. For a long time, you believed you needed to raise your vibration, as if it were somewhere far away, waiting for you to reach it. But the truth is, your vibration was never lost. It was simply covered by layers of noise, fear, and forgetting. The path isn't upward, it's remembering. You're not a being trying to connect to the light. You are the light trying to remember itself. The search for elevation creates distance, but remembering creates presence. Energy doesn't respond to effort, it responds to recognition. Everything you're looking for is already pulsing silently within you. Every attempt to become more spiritual is like running in circles inside a temple that's always been in your chest. True vibrational mastery begins when you stop seeking and start listening. The sound of your own frequency has always been playing, just drowned out by the noise of the world. The return happens when the mind quiets and the heart recognizes, I was never separate. It's in that instant the field begins to respond, reorganizing the energy around this new remembering. Your vibration rises, not because you ascend, but because everything false begins to fall away. And before this remembering can fully blossom, there are 5 portals that must be crossed. Each one is a living frequency, a code that awakens dormant parts of your consciousness. When all align, what was fragmented becomes whole again, and the being vibrates once more as source. The mind is the first field to be pacified, because that's where the noise begins. Relentless thoughts, comparisons, and memories create a fog that distorts the sound of your natural vibration. You don't need to fight the thoughts, just stop following them. The awakened observer is what restores order to chaos. When you observe without identifying, something subtle happens. The field recognizes that consciousness has returned to command. Silence isn't the absence of sound. It's presence without interference. In this state, the mind becomes a pure mirror, and energy begins to reorganize around the center. Everything false loses its power. Every thought carries a frequency, and when they're misaligned, the field fragments. But when there's space between one and the next, energy pulses back into coherence. The space is the portal, not the content. It's the gap between ideas that allows the sound of your essence to be heard again. The mind isn't the enemy, it's a tool. It was made to translate, not to dominate. When you observe it with love instead of resistance, it naturally aligns with consciousness, and in that alignment emerges the first level of vibrational stability: clarity. You feel what it's like to be whole again. This is the beginning of the path, because the silence of the mind prepares the soil where the heart can bloom. And without this silence, emotions become confused and vibration fluctuates. That's why the first door is always internal. Close your eyes, breathe, and remember that the most powerful sound is the one born from your own center. The heart is the temple where vibration takes form. It's where energy transforms into emotion and emotion into creation. When you feel deeply, the universe responds immediately because the field doesn't understand words, it understands frequency. And emotion is the soul's original language. Most people try to vibrate high through the mind, but the mind calculates, the heart radiates. It doesn't need to understand, it simply feels. Love, gratitude, and reverence aren't fleeting feelings, they're stable frequencies that shape the fabric of reality. Every beat in harmony is a silent vibrational command. Sustaining elevated emotions is an act of energetic alchemy. Love isn't a response to what happens. It's a vibrational decision in the face of what happens. When the heart remains open, even amid chaos, vibration stops depending on circumstances and begins to emanate from within. These emotions are like continuous musical notes. The more you sustain them, the more the field organizes around them. Gratitude cleanses, love expands, compassion harmonizes. To feel consciously is to choose the frequency of the world you wish to perceive, and reality obeys that vibration. When the heart rises, the entire body adjusts, the mind quiets, energy flows, and the field begins to pulse in unison with the whole. It's at this point you stop merely reacting to life and begin creating from it, because the heart is the true transmitter of your vibration. The now is the point where all vibration manifests. There's no energy in yesterday, no power in tomorrow. The past is just an echo, and the future is projection. Only the present vibrates, only the instant breathes. And it's in this space that the field finds coherence, and the being rediscovers its original power. The mind fears the now because it cannot control it. It survives by moving between memories and expectations, always trying to escape the present silence. But when you anchor your consciousness in the instant, time dissolves. The field stops oscillating and energy becomes continuous, dense, alive. Being in the now isn't the absence of thought, it's the totality of presence. It's fully inhabiting the body, hearing the breath, feeling the pulse of the instant. In this state, the field doesn't need to be elevated. It's already aligned. Vibration stabilizes naturally, without effort, without technique, simply by existing. When you're present, reality stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that responds to you. Every moment is creation. Every breath is vibration. The now is the meeting point between the human and the divine, where the observer and the creator are the same being. And it's only in this state of presence that previous practices consolidate. The mind quiets, the heart remains open, and the field unifies. Because the now is the altar of energy, the place where the universe listens. Everything that isn't presence is absence of power, and everything that is presence is pure vibration. The now is the point where the universe breathes. No power exists in the past, and the future hasn't vibrated yet. Only the instant contains real energy. Everything alive happens now, in this second of consciousness, and the more you anchor here, the more your frequency becomes stable, dense, and luminous. The mind fears the present because in it loses control. It feeds on memories and projections, fleeing the silence that strips it bare. But it's in that very silence that power dwells. When you stop running between the before and after, you feel the vibration pulsing in the exact moment you exist. Being in the now doesn't mean stopping the world, but feeling it from within. It's looking without judging, breathing without hurry, perceiving the body as a living temple. In this state, there's no effort to vibrate high. The field harmonizes naturally because presence is the purest frequency that exists. Vibration doesn't need time, it needs attention. The more present you are, the more the universe reorganizes around you. The now is the mirror of creation. It reflects only what you sustain in consciousness. And the more whole this presence is, the more coherent your reality becomes. It's at this point the awakened being understands. Everything happens here. The mind falls silent, the heart expands, and the body vibrates in unison with the whole. The present is the true portal of manifestation, the place where the divine touches the human, and every time you return to it, the universe returns to you. Coherence is the point where being and field become one sound. When what you think, feel, and do vibrates in harmony, the universe responds without resistance. Internal contradictions are cracks in frequency, small distortions that weaken magnetism. Truth doesn't shout, it just vibrates steady. Living in coherence is aligning with the natural flow of energy. It's letting every word be born from the same place as feeling, and every action translate what the heart has already decided. When mind and emotion oppose each other, the field fragments. But when both unite in silence, a force emerges that the world cannot deny. The universe isn't impressed by intentions. It responds to the real vibration you sustain. Saying, "I believe in the light," while feeding fear, is emitting two opposing frequencies. Energy doesn't understand the speech. It understands the tone. That's why every misaligned thought is a confused command, and every sincere act is a declaration of power. Coherence is the pure sound of authenticity. It's not about perfection, but about vibrational truth. It's looking within and recognizing where you still betray yourself, where you still negotiate your peace. When you choose to remain whole, even in silence, vibration expands because the field recognizes integrity. And when everything inside you sings the same note, the universe tunes in. Situations adjust, people align, and the path opens. Coherence is the portal of trust, the place where effort ends and vibration does the work. Because truth sustained in presence is the most magnetic frequency that exists. Every elevated vibration must pass through the fire of sustaining. The universe doesn't test you to punish you, it confirms you. When energy expands, the field needs to stabilize, and for that, old patterns return. They don't come back to knock you down, but to verify if you vibrate differently now. The same scenarios, the same people, the same emotions may reappear, but what once shook you now dissolves before the new frequency. It's in this contrast that mastery is born. Sustaining vibration is remaining anchored, even when the world tries to pull you back to the old rhythm. Staying stable amid chaos is the silent proof of awakened consciousness. When vibration becomes identity, you stop oscillating with circumstances. What happens outside no longer defines what vibrates within. And in this constancy, the field perceives this energy is ready to create. Sustaining doesn't require rigidity, it requires presence. It's breathing in the middle of the storm and remembering nothing can take me from my center. It's allowing the world to spin while you remain still inside. True power isn't dominating reality. It's not losing your frequency before it. When you sustain your vibration, the universe reorganizes around your constancy. Everything that was dense begins to align with the new tone. Light stops being a search and becomes a state. And at this point you understand, stability isn't the end of the journey. It's the birth of true conscious creation. After crossing the 5 frequencies, you realize there was never a journey upward. There was a return inward. Vibration isn't a goal. It's a remembering. The field responds to your inner stability, and life begins to mold itself to the presence you sustain. What once seemed like miracles becomes natural. Integration is the moment when the seeker disappears and only consciousness remains. Everything you believed you needed to reach reveals itself as something that was always vibrating silently within you. It's the reunion with Source, without effort, without ego, without separation. It's the being remembering it is the very sound of the universe. Here, energy doesn't depend on practices, it has become a state. Love doesn't need to be remembered because it has become the breathing. Presence doesn't need to be cultivated because it is the very way of existing. At this point, vibration stops being something you feel and becomes what you are. To integrate is to allow light to circulate freely through every part of your being. It's living spirituality in the everyday, in simple words, in silent gestures. Every action becomes an expression of consciousness, and the world, a reflection of this coherence. Everything vibrates from your axis, and nothing takes you from it anymore. True mastery isn't controlling energy, it's being energy in human form. When you arrive here, There's no return, only expansion. The field becomes an extension of the soul, and the soul recognizes itself as field. You no longer seek to make the world vibrate. You are the very pulse that keeps it alive. Everything you heard here wasn't about becoming something new, but about remembering what has always existed in you. The vibration you sought to raise was never distant. It was just waiting for you to silence the noise and hear your own inner sound. Now you know. The path isn't upward. It's back to the center where everything vibrates in harmony. When you sustain this presence, the universe responds. Situations align, the right people arrive, and what once seemed like effort transforms into flow. Reality stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that pulses from you. You no longer vibrate for the world vibrates through you. If this message resonated in your heart, write in the comments, "I remember my frequency." Leave your like, share this energy, and subscribe to the Manifest Now channel to continue awakening and expanding your consciousness. Every gesture you make keeps this vibration alive and helps this light reach more people who are also ready to remember who they truly are.